another episode of Songwriting with IronFist. Yeah!
I'm back. It's been a while, I feel like. It's been a little bit of a while. But stuff is going crazy at school, work, whatever. Believe it or not, I am getting to near the end of my semester. This is the end of my week 12. And stuff's just really starting to roll. But I have been working on stuff and had some replies to the last bit that Mike sent along. And so I thought I would get in here and philosophize for a little bit about songwriting and then also fill you in on where I am with words. So I really liked a lot of what Mike had to say. He really tapped into the same sense that I have about the idyllic summer. And I've actually written that song already. There's a song I wrote in between sort of iterations of the band when Mike and I didn't have a lot of contact. I wrote a song called Magic, which is sort of my love letter to my perfect idyllic year and sort of focused on summer without ever actually saying it. That song's called Magic, and it's not like sort of typical IronFist. It's more of a gentle sort of hand-picked guitar. This is your hand-picked guitar, or me scratching my pit, I don't know. It's sort of a gentle hand-picked guitar, almost folk song, but I can see us putting it out on an album, somewhere toward the end of the album, like Jones Boys was. But I just really like that he identified what we're both seeking, the idea of just these idyllic days of summer and how do you capture that in words. I really liked what he had to say about writing what you know. That's a really key concept for anybody who is, I think, a creative writer, whether it's books or song lyrics. It may even be applicable to visual artists, it's like paint what you know. I don't know, that ain't my bag. Point is, I think that the integrity of the songs that you create, that a person creates, can only be upheld by the authenticity of writing what you know. If you don't know about a particular thing, then the whole song is going to ring really hollow. I think Metalhead Train is a really great example. Mike has long been a train aficionado, and for him to write that song made perfect sense. It's a lived experience, it's stuff he knows about, and so it comes through, I believe, very authentically. For me to try to write that song would have been preposterous. I'd have been like, train, big, like, I would have filled it with a bunch of cliches that would have immediately demonstrated that I just don't have any idea what I'm talking about because I don't have the lived experience. That said, authenticity in songwriting specifically now, authenticity can come from that concept of lived experience. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to know everything about my subject matter. I can easily write a song about Christmas because that's been a holiday in my family and a family tradition since forever. So I can authentically write those kinds of songs. Something like Does It Take Two? So the subject matter of Does It Take Two, aside from trying to rhyme each day of the week the way we did, was also about like a guy meeting a woman at work and really falling for her and thinking that she's flirting back with him, only to come to find out that, she's sort of a on the side prostitute, and that he mistook her flirtation as being genuine when really what she was just trying to do is ratchet up another customer. That's not any experience that I've ever had. I've never walked up to a stranger or someone I know at the copy machine and immediately started flirting. Pretty sure that would get me bounced from my job more or less immediately. But even then, it's just not a situation I've ever encountered. But my lived experience informs me that I have been in positions where I've gone, ooh, hot girl, and wanted to approach and begin a flirtation with the hope of carrying it somewhere, if you know what I mean. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So the authenticity of that song, I think, comes through not because I met a woman at the copy machine who turned out to be a prostitute. It comes from the fact that I've been in situations where I have felt flirtatious and have endeavored to display that to the other party. So authenticity in songwriting, really good. Writing what you know, really good. And we both know about the awesome glory days of summer in Michigan. The last thing he said that really resonated with me anyway was about not overwriting. So he was really working to fix, and I've got the lyric sheet up here on my computer. He was really working to fix that sense of me trying to get at the perfect color of early June skies here in Michigan. And remember I said that I was like sort of hung up on the word azure because that's the right color but completely the wrong word. And then I had gone with blue Crayola skies, which was better for me, but it was overwritten. And I think probably because I spent so long in college, I do think I have a tendency to make things more complicated when simplicity will really do. I have a tendency to overwrite. So when I was like, looking up in wonder at those blue Crayola skies, that seemed to me to be the essence of what I was trying to get across. And Mike just took it and simplified it and was like, why don't we make it and looking up at wonder at those perfect clear blue skies? And I'm like, yeah, right, because that delivers the intent exactly as it needs to be without worrying about what color blue is it. They're perfect, clear blue skies. I love it. So that's all good. He had mentioned that we didn't have a whole lot going on in the second verse, and I had started with head into July, and then I had just written parenthetically, this is where all the glory days of summer stuff goes. So now I've got some words that I think can work, which would be like head into July, with fireworks, barbecues, and boating on the lake. No one could deny the Middle Coast glory days of homemade Johnny cake. No, homemade Johnny cake is not the right lyric there. That's a good example of I got through, no one could deny the Middle Coast glory days, and then I didn't have anything. I'm looking for something that rhymes with lake. There are, a phone book's worth of words that can rhyme with lake. The rattlesnake and coaster break, there's just a ton of stuff that can rhyme with it. What I did once again was drop in the thing that works syllabically, maintains the rhythmic flow with the same number of syllables, and it's just a placeholder. So as soon as I typed in the Middle Coast glory days of homemade Johnny cake, I just X'd that out, of homemade Johnny cake. Clearly that's not going to be the thing any more than the previous lyric about, a burger with a salty side of fries. I don't know, maybe I'm always doing these videos when I'm hungry. Point is, yeah, I know that's not the right lyric, but at least it gets us a little further on. And then we've got the second chorus, what I hope is going to be like a really lovely, memorable solo. And then we get that bridge, hitting August be like the days are nearly gone. And then I've got it sort of crossed out here, something out of nowhere tells me time is marching on. And that's where we'll go to that F sharp minor chord. That gets us into the 6, a little bit of sadness before we can build up again. And the last bit of that bridge will be something like, but let's not forget that there's still sort of time to be wrung out. Maybe I'll even type that in, parentheses, wringing the last juices out of summer. that at least gets across the idea that I want to maintain in there, that yeah, the days are nearly gone, yeah, time is marching on, but let's not forget there's still a little bit of succulence. Maybe that's where we can work the juicy peach line back in. I don't know.
Okay, it's my turn. In another part of Mike and Scott are doing another thing. So I'm picking up with where he was at with the lyrics in the second verse. And, well, I'm just, like scratching my head a little bit. So, head into July, fireworks, barbecue, and boating by the lake. It's good. Something about it, it'll work. I can sing it. Something about it, as a singer, I feel like I'm going to trip on that somehow. It's not overwritten, it's not overbaked. Maybe it's landing on the word lake. I haven't taken the opportunity to look up rhyming words with lake, and I'll do that here in just a minute. But I was playing with concepts and ideas, and the one that kind of fell natural to me is head into July with barbecue, boating, and fireworks by the lake. Still lands me at lake. As a singer, it feels better, maybe. I'm not sure. And it's not really much of a change, so, it'll be whatever it is. I know Scott always says, hey, you got to sing it. But I want to look up options for words that rhyme with lake, because I'm not sure landing that first phrase at lake is the best option. So I'm looking at some words here. Ache, bake, blake, break, cake, Johnny cake. Drake, fake, flake, snowflake? No. Steak was interesting. Wake, maybe interesting. So I kind of, this is redundant and we would have to change something here. But with fireworks, barbecue, and boating on the lake, no one could deny the Middle Coast glory days filled with the aroma of steak. I don't know. That's probably worse than Johnny cake. I think we could do. This is when I'm going to contradict myself, and I think Scott would agree with this, that even though we have rules, they're not really rules. They're like
The pirate code.
They're more like guidelines.
we have things that we follow for good songwriting. And I just spent a whole bunch of time, and Scott spent a bunch of time talking about leaving as much up to the listener or the reader's imagination. And I'm probably not going here, but we're sharing the process with you. We're sharing the thinking that goes into it. So I'm wondering if, on one hand, fireworks, barbecue, and boating on the lake crams 3 summer things into one line of the song. My question is, and I don't have the answer to this even for myself, is it too much so that the listener is overwhelmed with these thoughts and doesn't have time to really experience that? Now I know it's one line of a song that's going to go by about that fast, and yet as a songwriter and as a musician, I want to be careful to not give too much in a line of a song so that they can't connect to it. Because for me, every line of the song should either connect to the listener or lead them to connecting with the next thing that's coming. So, back to the sizzle of the steak. Fireworks. Take fireworks out. Head into July. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue and smell that sizzling steak. But you see where I'm going with that. So these are the things that we explore. These are the things that we think about. I think I like the fireworks, barbecue, and boating. I think I like it better as barbecue, boating, and fireworks. It could even be fireworks on the lake, fireworks by the lake, fireworks over the lake. Or maybe we get rid of the word lake And we don't want to use sky. I keep trying to go back to sky, and that just is like, no, we've already used that. We don't want to use that again. Part of songwriting is not reusing words and concepts more than once unless it is mission critical to the song. In this case, it's not. It's the point of this song isn't sky. So we're not going to use the word sky over and over and over. So I just took a minute to think about this more, and something dawned on me, and I think Scott will agree with this. Boating on the lake. Where the heck else are you going to do it? In a field? Now, I know we could be boating on the river. But it was like, okay, are we wasting words there by... Now, we have to have a rhyme, obviously, but is there another way we could put that together so that we can do fireworks, barbecue, and boating, but not talk about on the lake, but again, let the listener determine where that boating is happening? Head into July with fireworks, barbecues, and boating all in store. No one could deny the Middle Coast glory days of the great outdoors. It's close. I'm struggling a little with Middle Coast glory days because I actually never heard that term that I recall until Scott did his video a while ago and he mentioned that. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole of, okay, can we set that aside? It's not hard to sing. The Middle Coast glory days of the great outdoors. I think I'm okay with that, and I think it's not just about me, obviously. I'm from the UPA, so, Middle Coast is not something I've necessarily heard and stuff, But I really am. I'm from northern Michigan, way, way, way up north, and in the land of the Yooper, and that's just not, we kind of just downstate where I live now just really didn't exist in my mind. So it was just Detroit. So I think I'm okay with that, and who cares if I am or I'm not. The main thing is, will this twisted little tongue sing that? So let's try it again. Head into July with fireworks, barbecues, and boating all in store. No one could deny the Middle Coast glory days of the great outdoors. Now, to be really legalistic, store and outdoor rhymes, but store and outdoors, it's making it plural. It's very acceptable, but in its truest legalistic sense, it's not the perfect rhyme, okay? But it's not a pseudo rhyme either, so I think we'll be okay with that. So then, I believe it goes into long nights beneath the stars, hot rods and loud guitars. I've got it all to look forward to, and there's nothing I'm going to do. So I think it goes back into that same pre-chorus. I don't think we're rewriting that. Scott will have to confirm that in the next video. I don't recall him saying anything in this video about that. Then I think he's going into a break-ish. Hitting August, be like, the nays are nearly gone. Something out of nowhere tells me time is marching on. And then he's got a line about wringing the last juices out of summer. I'm not totally sure where he's going with that. I'm going to go back and just catch up on the last bit of this video that he's in right now just to be sure I'm not missing something. And then I'll be back. I'll be right back. Okay, he did cover that. There's a lot for me with editing video and recording video, and there's just a lot that goes on with me in this stuff. So, hitting August be like the days are nearly gone. Something out of nowhere tells me time is marching on. And I don't have enough of his thought, especially melodically here, to know where to go with that. So he mentioned going and using, maybe putting in the Juicy Peach line. I'm not convinced of that. Because I don't see the thought there. I think he wants to convey is like it's the end of summer and we're just kind of like trying to wring out the last drops that we can enjoy. And the symbolism of the peach is this gushy thing that just gushes all over with this tasty goodness all over you when you bite into it, and it's running down, all of that. So I don't know if Juicy Peach there works. I suppose we could do an allegorical. I don't know what the word is. That the right word? Michigan is a There's a lot of wineries, especially in West Coast Michigan. So we could talk about squeezing the juices out like a grape somehow, getting out that last tasty succulence for it to ferment over the winter. I don't know. I'm going to leave that aside for now and just have kind of let where I landed with this potential change in the second verse. And I'm wondering also if he's thinking, because he wasn't clear in my mind, it doesn't mean he wasn't clear, that he's going head into July with fireworks, barbecues, and boating all in store. No one could deny the middle coast glory gaze of the great outdoors. And I don't know if he was thinking going into that pre-chorus again there, or going into maybe the solo there, and then picking up when we go into after the break of hitting August, blah, 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 and then going into the pre-chorus again before we do the final chorus. So I don't know his order there, so he's going to have to clarify that in the next one.
Okay, so I had said a long time ago, several episodes ago, that I was really hearing a kind of ooh, ah, that sort of really rich Beach Boys harmony, just as a little nod to that kind of nostalgia, because why not, you know? And so if we're on here, from the backyard to the beach, that's A and E. I know the good times, that's A again. Good times always are in reach, and that's the D. I'm gonna rock, rock and roll all through the summer. So that's A, E, A, D, and then A, E, A. From the backyard to the beach, I know the good times always are in reach. I'm gonna rock and roll all through the summer. So me and my music theory and 4-part writing background, I want those oohs to come in on the backyard to the beach. I want them to come in there. And so just a nice A triad here, doubled with the root. So A, C, C sharp. We're a half step down, so I'm really looking at A flat, C, E flat, A flat. So then go to the E7. So the bottom A flat can drop to a G, C can come up to a D flat, E flat can stay, and then the top A flat, probably Rachel, can go up to a B flat. Then the B flat here, the top voice, Rachel, I want to keep climbing back up to the C like that. E can stay the same, D flat goes down to C, G comes back up to A flat. So A flat, C, E flat, C again. And then finally for the D flat chord, C climbs to D flat, E flat climbs to F, C climbs to D flat, A flat stays a common tone. So that's too many G's. One more time. You know, so the top part is I can't hit it anymore. Like that. The middle part would be in this E flat. It's going to stay. Climb to the F. And those would be ahs there. And then that the one that starts on C. Now one more time. Like that. Again. I think gets us what we want. So that's what I have there. Oohs first. And then ahs. I think that'll sound really good with all 4 of our voices layered in. I get the bottom line because that's the one I can do.
Okay, so picking up on where Scott was there, I'm going to start layering in just with my voice some of those harmonies, and I had some ideas of my own to throw in there, and I haven't played with this yet, so I'm going to record a little of this and let you hear it. Find your note. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Except I forgot to record it. So I'll be right back. So I put in a click track and I have that recorded now. So I'm going to start layering in the harmonies. And he did put down that the BPM is 144, so we're good. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Okay, so I've got, I think the stuff that Scott recorded, he did so we're here. And then we added the, it's just here. I can't remember what I did. From the backyard to the beach. So just up the scale there. And then I did a D. So this is what this sounds like so far. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. So we're getting there. Then he wanted an octave of that EF. And I heard something else. And so I'm going to record that for you right now. Here's what we've got. So I'm going to start layering in the vocal parts here. I've just got this on a loop. And you can hear what we've got. Let's add the click back in. Okay, so this is just the melody. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. So let's add the first harmony line in. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Not bad. Let's add the next one in. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Okay, let's add the next one in. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Okay, now here's what I really heard when I was listening to what Scott was doing the other day. So listen to this really high harmony that's added in there. It's kind of like a combination of Beach Boys and a Weema Wep. From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. I'm not in the best vocal form today, so bear with me on that. But let's do that with the guitars. I don't have the bass guitar and stuff in here, and I know these guitar parts aren't exactly right, but you got to hear it because it's cool, right? From the backyard to the beach, the good times always are in reach. Yes, that's exhausting work, but it's worthy work. And now that we have that, I hope I don't lose it. Remember that right now, this isn't about recording. This is about just getting some scratch ideas down. So the singing's not great. Like I said, I guess I've had some problems with my throat for a little while. Little, nervous about that, but it'll be fine. I'm just not singing the best, and not sure exactly why, but I'm getting old, so, it happens. All right, I think that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to and bat it back over the net to Scott for the next one, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for being here. This is fun. This is like giving you a little glimpse into one little teeny tiny piece of my world.
Rock!